Hello, Tom.
Hello, Dana.
I don't know why I decided to sound like Johnny Cash when I said
There's nothing wrong with a little bit of formality amongst friends.
that. Right, because that's what friendship is based on, cold-hearted formalities.
Strictly call each other by our father's names. So,
Already we've derailed. Okay.
so
So hello, loyal listeners. Uh, Thank you for joining us again. We are so as you know, we are hoping to discuss the culture of toy collecting. And I guess first off, Tom, did you get anything cool this week?
I did, but first, what's the name of our podcast?
Oh yeah. Two guys talking toys.
Yes, sir.
And those two guys, that's us.
Let's jump right into it. New finds. I have not found anything new myself on the store shelf. However, Target really kind of redeeming itself in my eyes. I actually received my order of Python Patrol troopers in the mail. I was shocked.
Yes. After delaying it twice, right? They finally shipped.
I got the third notification. My immediate thought was, well, here comes the cancellation because sure. But now they said we shipped your troopers.
All right.
Enjoy. Something's
Good. Are we
coming.
allowed to badmouth Target on this? Because we depend so much on their storefront. And so
I don't see.
I'll
Well,
just say we've had difficulty. Let's just leave it at that. We've had difficulty ordering online from Target.
listen, until Target decides they want to sponsor the show, we can talk about them however we feel.
I guess that's true. I guess that's true. So Python Patrol on the way.
So
I
that
did pick up, in fact, got delivered. I found it on sale clearance at a Big Bad Toy Store, which is a shameless plug that I will not get anything for. I got the 11-inch X-ray figure Super 7
oh
bats.
that's a good get.
That is a good get.
Was he
And
on sale or regular price?
it was on clearance. It was like $50, not even
That's
$50.
really good.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have like articulated hip joints, but that's okay. He looks pretty cool. So I always have this. I have this vision of him being like the master mold of the bats as I set him up with somebody's throat clenched in his little claw hand, holding them up in the air as the other bats celebrate at his feet.
Are you going to be displaying him with your 3 and 3/4 inch Joes, or are you going to put him with calcifieds?
No, with the classifieds, I
Good
think that'll
plan.
be good. Yeah, yeah. And then secondly, you know that I cannot leave a wayward toy laying in the parking lot.
What did you find?
I've got a collection of plushes and things that I find in parking lots that I can't leave there to die. So this little lion plush lion thing. Loyal listeners, if you could see it, it's really cute. It's yellow and has an orange mane. And if your child has lost this outside of the Target, uh, anywhere on Long Island, let me know it. I'll be glad to send it to you.
So describe that in a little more detail, like your history with doing this.
Oh yeah, it started. I guess I don't even know, a long time ago. And I have found everything from little army men to plastic La La Loopsy dolls to that terry cloth plush fish sitting on my dashboard in the Jeep that I'm sure you've noticed. And there's a little like caterpillar, like it looks like a chew toy for children.
Mhm,
I guess it's called a teething something, but
mhm.
chew toy is probably not the accurate. Who knows? I mean, people give kids chew toys.
You're
Um,
so you're accumulating a little classroom cluster from like Toy Story 3.
Yeah, yeah, it really is an island of misfit toys, and I can't just leave a toy sitting in a parking lot. It's just the way it goes.
It amazes me that you find these on fairly frequently. At most, maybe I'll get lucky and find a 20 blowing around the parking lot, but never a toy.
I would rather find a 20 than a little plush lion, to be honest with you. But that's just me. I'll sell you this little plush lion for $20.
The next 20 I find blowing around a parking lot. Sold.
Sold. I like it. Deal. I'll even sell it to you for 15. Um, so loyal listener, aside from our idiocy, we have the goal of just talking about toy culture, and we thought it would be fun if each week we took turns coming up with a topic of conversation. So this week is Tom's turn. So What are we discussing today, Mr. Tom?
So I've so I we put together a pretty comprehensive list, ranging from both serious and silly. And I guess the topic that I kind of settled on isn't it's not super serious. Come on, guys, but it's a pretty big topic of discussion pretty regularly. So Dana, what are your thoughts on scalping versus selling for profit? Because there is a distinction between the two.
Right. Yes. Oh, so you want me to offend people? Okay. So I would say so let's make that differentiation. So the scalping is
should we
uh
define should we define, I guess, what scalping means within the realm
yeah,
of toy collecting?
for the loyal listeners so they know where we're coming from, I suppose. So both you and I have been long time collectors and sellers. We have both done eBay, and we were partners in a small stake, I would say, in a very cool flea market type toy selling brick and mortar, which is called Retro Relics in Lake Grove. Another shameless plug that I'm not going to get anything for, but if you're in the Lake Grove area, go check them out. And so we've had some experience there. So Tom, what when you're asking me that, what do you think is a scalper?
So I guess the most simple version of it. A lot of people, I guess, in the same way that people consider the person with the hoodie and the non-distinct face to be the Unabomber.
The
But
Unibomber or
you,
that guy
you
in the movie theater commercial who's
oh yeah, he's always
recording.
only people in hoodies with a camera that they raise up to their face are recording the movie.
Right.
I
And loyal listeners know that I am wearing a hoodie and looking into the face of a camera.
so you are stealing this movie. You're terrible.
Yes,
You are
I'm
part of the problem. But but I think the classic image that is kind of conjured up by people when they think of a scalper is your overage. Again, I'm going to harken back to Toy Story. That oversized, neck bearded, pushing
oh,
up
so
the
you're gonna
glasses.
offend people.
It's
Okay.
oh yeah, we've all seen them.
Loyal
We've all
listeners, I also have a beard. So
and glasses.
and glasses. Tom, what are you trying to say?
However, you are in much better shape than what people would imagine as your scalper. Someone that trolls a toy aisle, and the second that new product hits, the second that a hard to find item hits the shelf, there they are as if it's the supermarket spree and they've won, and they just threw it all into a cart. They run it up to the toy shelf, or I'm sorry, the cashier. They buy it all. They immediately run right back home. They trudge downstairs after yelling at their mom, and then they sell it on eBay for as
What did
much
mom
money as
do?
possible. I don't know. She just wanted to bring them some new Tostitos or something, but they don't have time for that because they are selling these short packed items for as much money as they can possibly get. Uh, Depriving actual collectors of an item that they genuinely wanted and wanted to put in their collection. So I think that's the maybe not 100% accurate, but I believe that has kind of
That's
become the mindset, the immediate image that is conjured up when you hear the term scalper. I guess to be a little bit more succinct, someone who gets a hold of hard to find items to artificially inflate their scarcity and to drive up their perceived value, and in the
okay.
process depriving people who really do want to own that item the chance to get said item.
Right. Well, when you say scalper, I'm like thinking outside the stadium, the big jacket. You know, when they used to portray them with the watches inside, like they open a jacket and there's just a number of like Tiger Force Outback figures and Suzuka inside the jacket. He's like, don't you want to classified?
There's only two ways that scenario can run. They're either a flasher, and that's terrible too, or they're a scalper, which is also terrible.
Right. You seem to be quite the expert in these sort of characters of ill repute, Tom. So we're gonna have to delve into that. So creating a false scarcity because they bought all of them, and
Yes.
because of said false scarcity, they then can charge 2 to 3 times what they normally do,
Now,
as opposed to profiting, which so you and I both sort of had what is maybe looked upon as some sort of moral way of doing this. So when you and I were selling, we would buy one for ourselves and then one to sell and leave the rest on the shelf for like-minded people to buy. So,
And
you
even
know,
that was kind of contingent on whether or not there are a lot of items available. If you and I both walked in by ourselves or together, and we get there and there's, say, 4 Tiger Force Duke sitting there, and let's say he's super duper rare and super duper short packed, and we walk in and there's 4 sitting there, you would purchase one, I would purchase one, and would probably leave at least one, possibly
yeah,
two, knowing of the scarcity.
right.
And if you're by yourself and there's just one there, sure, because you want that.
Oh, if there's just
if
one there, it's mine.
Yes, absolutely. If there is two, for me, that becomes more of a question. If there's three, then I feel as though it's not as terrible for you to grab two, leave one. That way, somebody is getting there. Somebody is getting one. I think that
Right.
that's not despicable.
Right, I agree. But then, the other side of that is that you and I were doing it as sort of a side hustle.
Yes.
It was something we love doing and love spreading the joy of toys because we're just geeks like that. So, um, if somebody is doing this, I suppose maybe to make a living,
Mm-hmm.
I don't, that when I don't know many people who do this for just that's their sole income. most
Yeah.
most people do it as a side hustle, and some people have more time than others.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have strong feelings. There is a gentleman, and I do know his name and I won't say it, but he who does come to our Target. And I told you the other day, I entered Target with chagrin in the morning and saw carts of the new He-Man line and the new GI Joe Tiger Force coming out, like literally carts of them, like
Yeah.
cases full. And it was this gentleman that is quite loquacious when he's in the toy department if you happen to run into him.
Mm-hmm.
But he also looks like one of the Men in Black, like disguise aliens. But he is proud. Like he will boast about how many he buys and that he, at least he's grateful to have the resources to do so.
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of hurts to hear him say it when you walk in right behind him and he's got a cart full of action figures, and you just want one. You just, can
Yeah.
I just have one? And he's like, no, I'm taking these, and I'll gladly sell you one for $60 out in the parking lot right now, even though I just bought it
Yeah, and
for $24.99.
I think that is part of the what makes it such an issue. Like it's especially with a guy like that, or someone who may not voice it, but that's clearly what they're doing. You know that this person is not. They're not getting one for a friend. They're not getting it for other people who are having a hard time finding it. They're not. They're not doing it in their only intention. The only reason that they're buying it, and I don't even know if they get any sort of personal joy out of it. Like I don't know if they have a collection at home where they go home to and they open one up and they put it up there and they enjoy it. But I don't know if this person even has that. Like if their only intention is just to resell it. I hate that.
Right, I feel taken advantage of sometimes because there are many a good people, and there are good people who sell toys,
Yes.
and profit. Um, that are true collectors, like you and I, and some of the people we've met in our little circle, which is very little, um, who the toy is the joy.
Yes.
And understanding the character and the articulation and the backstory, and especially now with all the stuff that we grew up with coming back with better designs,
Mhm.
and that nostalgia, and the nostalgia is the X factor, I
Yeah.
think. Even more so sometimes than demand
Mhm.
or inventory. And that's the price that I think people are putting on things, and that's a value that's difficult to quantify.
Mhm.
And I think it gets inflated when people try to quantify nostalgia, and that's when you run into that, like, people want it because they want it, and so that gives me the right to charge whatever I want. um but I don't know. So then on the other side of the argument, scalping, so we've defined that, loyal listeners, and when you listen to this, I would love to hear your comments, and I'm sure some of you are gonna take offense if you have a neck beard or live in a basement. So to those very friendly neck bearded basement dwellers, we're sorry if we offend you. So what about the people who buy it for profit? So you were talking about that rare figure. So the rare Tom action figure that's short packed, one figure per case.
Mhm.
He's glow in the dark, kung fu grip, and translucent.
Oh, I love
And
this. Where can I
yes,
buy this figure?
and has a voice activated response AI intelligence that you can have a conversation with, and they'll make your bed. This figure is so rare that I
Mhm.
find three of them at Target, and as a good person, I buy one for me and one to sell, because you don't need one, because you are Tom and you do glow in the dark and you do make your own bed, so you don't need this toy. That would be selfish of you to buy it. So now I've got one to sell, and let's say I paid $30 for this thing.
Mhm.
Then what is a good profit for me, and not what you would consider to be me taking advantage of all the Tom glow in the dark bed making Tom dolls that are going to be out there?
Oh, that's actually a really good question. When I manage to get a hold of something uh, that I do intend to sell for profit, it's almost not worth my while. And I think that's why I kind of veer into, I don't want to say vintage, but items that came out years ago, or I'm more inclined to sell things that are in my collection that came out years ago that I've now decided that I don't want anymore, and also
Hmm.
maybe coincides with becoming a highly sought after figure.
Some sort of
Um,
trend.
yes,
Yeah.
I my profit goal is to make, probably, if I can make back twice as much as what I paid for it, I think that's ideal. And again, I don't think that if you're again, like, if your sole purpose of getting stuff is for profit, that seems odd. Again, unless that is your job, that is your side hustle, or that is your profession. And even with that, it seems like people that tend to do this for profit tend to go after kind of like large lots. They go to estate sales, they go to like
Right.
garage sales, and they get like,
Especially the vintage stuff like you were just speaking about.
yeah. So you have something like that. My goal is usually to double the profit, um, which is part of the reason why I don't broom everything into the cart, because my it seems short sighted. And even though I've seen a lot of people, like when Cobra Island Baroness popped up, and I say popped up in air quotes because I never saw her on a shelf, but I saw
Mm-hmm.
plenty of her on eBay, where people that were just what were we seeing in the upwards of like 150
120, 130, $150.
easily.
I always tended to do a 50% markup. So if I
Mm-hmm,
paid $30 for something, and
mm-hmm,
it was something that could still be found on the shelves. I'm not talking about, the glow in the dark Tom figure from 1985. I'm
mm-hmm.
talking about it just hit the shelves
Yeah,
and is hard to
new
find.
new to the
I
shelf, 50% markup
Yeah,
sounds
so
fair.
if I bought it for $30, if I bought a $30 Tom, I would sell it for 45.
I think that that's fair, and probably an ideal, because even then you're taking into account getting the figure. So you're plunking down, say, what were you saying, $30?
$30,
You're
yeah.
plunking down about $30. You're taking into account, and I know a lot of people don't like this breakdown of expenses, but it
I thought
is
you were
in
going to say,
fact
I
a
know a lot of
a
people don't like a glow in the dark translucent Tom.
lot of people don't like that. However, they can jump off a bridge because they're awesome. But you look at the initial cost of the figure, you look at the just time you spend looking for said figure, you look into the amount that it costs for gas, and now, and I don't know how much this was a big factor before, not so much, probably more so now, shipping costs. Almost no, I don't think
Yeah.
I have shipped anything in the past 2 months, 3 months. I don't think I've shipped anything for less than $10, almost no matter what it is. I think
Right.
at some point I hit 9.97, but pretty much everything has
How
been.
much did that mail away bride cost you how was
Oh,
what was the freight on that?
well, we have to look at the conversion rate from. I'm thinking, what is the?
Don't give a don't give a specific currency. Do not do it.
But worth every penny? Maybe not so much. But yes, shipping costs are, I don't want to say crippling, but they sure do eat into your costs, especially if you're selling via eBay, who
Yeah.
their bites just get bigger and bigger out of whatever profit you may be hoping to
And I
make.
think that is part of the problem is
Mhm.
that it's becoming more and more difficult to sell on eBay. You get the money later, it sells, you don't
Mhm.
get the money till 3 days later. So then you can't ship until 3 days later.
Yep.
And they're taking a bigger bite. The freight has gone up exponentially in the last 3 years. Um, I think that's part of the problem, and the issue is your real options are eBay
Mhm.
or I mean you're more well versed in other websites than I am, but essentially waiting for something to show up on Amazon and go on sale or
Yeah.
Walmart or Target. But for the hard to find stuff, you know, people who find it are going to sell it on eBay, or you have to go to one of those specialty collector stores
Yes.
like Retro Relic and Time Warp and Milo's Collectibles, all shameless plugs that I'm not getting anything for, um, and all wonderful people. So, you know, that being the option, especially because it gives you a broader view, right? Because there are people selling stuff all over the country. So what's
Yeah.
hard to find here may be easy to find in Sheboygan, and
Mhm.
they just can post it. So
Oh, so here's another question. Speaking of specialty shops, comic book shops, places like GameStop or whatever, when you walk into one of those stores, I want to say more specifically comic shops, someplace like Forbidden Planet or Midtown Comics, or oh, I forgot the name of the one in the mall.
Fourth World.
Fourth
Oh, the
World.
one in the wall, Newberry.
Yes.
Newberry.
So Newberry, you walk in, and we've seen it with our own eyes, and I also see reports online of sightings
Man,
where
we're
there'll
dropping a
be,
lot of plugs today.
yeah, you're all welcome. Please,
You're all welcome to sponsor us.
or at
We just
least
rattled off like 8 names of places that they don't even really know we exist.
listen to the show and bump our viewership up to 4. That'd be great.
Right.
That'd be amazing. But if you see something listed in any of those shops, and those are almost without fail in the upwards of $10 to $15 above what you would find them in brick and mortar like Target or Walmart,
Right.
is that scalping?
Well, you have to understand that and coming from someone who has tried to sell product in Walmart
Mhm.
in a former life, they they cut you out. Like you can't make a profit selling to
Mhm.
Walmart. Like you have to get a leader loss in there
Yeah.
and then build on that line in order to make profits. It's really a numbers game. So for Walmart to carry something, they want to mark it up 70%.
Mhm.
So if you think that Walmart's selling something for $10, that means they bought it for 3.
Mhm.
So those those smaller shops like you just named, aren't buying obviously those kind of numbers and don't have the clout to demand those kind of markups.
Mhm.
They're paying close to retail what Walmart is selling for. So, they're going to have to mark it up a little bit because they're not making 70% on those Marvel Legends figures where Walmart is.
Mhm. I'm glad you put that out there, because I know that there's a lot of, you see it sometimes on various different forums where something will be listed, or you'll see someone mention whatever website, even a lot of the online retailers who, if they are importing a Japanese item and they list it for whatever amount, and you see a lot of the immediate kind of hammer fisting of the keyboard where people are yelling, well, it only lists if you import it from Amazon Japan, it's only whatever amount, not almost always excluding how much you have to pay for shipping,
For shipping, yeah.
and then ignoring the fact that, like you said, these guys probably have to pay close to retail before they even get the product, and now they have to sell it through their store and make a profit off of it, hence the inflated price.
Right. And then you got to think, you got to add in all, like, Walmart gets foot traffic like crazy,
Yeah.
obviously. They've got to get the marketing and get people in the door. And it's a whole, those little shops, those cool little comic shops that we all know. Um, they don't have an easy go of things, which is why we don't have any on the eastern part of the island. There just aren't any.
I like this. I like this line of questioning because I now have more questions for you. So,
Great.
a few months ago, Mattel has been selling things on their website through Mattel Creations, and it looks like they're trying to get a pretty decent handle on the best way to do it because after all these years, they still can't quite crack the code. The Origins line for He-Man, they were offering $1. Did you hear about the $1 debacle?
I did through you. I think you told me
Yes.
about it.
Yes.
Even when I was a kid, I thought $1 was just dumb, but apparently people wanted this bread hero, and
yeah. So it was.
If it came with a sandwich, I might have considered it cool.
If I remember correctly, I think the classics version, which I don't own, I think the classics version of him does come with like a loaf of bread.
Oh, well, see, that's something. So why don't you, for our loyal listeners who may not know the debacle, why don't you give us an outline of that?
So Maddie Creations decided that it would be a good idea to offer $1 via the website for a limited time because I'm trying to think if they had. It slipped in my mind if they had done this before. I believe they had offered someone else through the website before this, and maybe I think it was Koldar. I want to say there was a character named Koldar that they offered through the website. He was an exclusive. He had never been in the line before, and it took him about a half hour to sell out. So $1 was up next, and $1 is not a character that I care about, primarily because he's not a Snake Man, so I don't really care about him. But the opportunity to get him arose, so I was like, well, why not? Sales started at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I call up I open up my phone, I get on the site, I sign in, and I get ready to try and guess the CAPTCHA. You got to click those lights. You got to make sure that you have your number and all that information in there. I log in at 12 o'clock. I'm in. It goes live, and I'm like, yeah, it sells out. And I'm like, wait, what?
What's Did it sell out as fast as the translucent glow in the dark Tom?
If I had a figure that sold out as fast as the initial offering of $1, I would be a happy guy. I don't know how many units that they had pre-produced to put up for sale. I don't know how many. I'm presuming a few thousand, with a limit of, I want to say a limit of 2. I don't remember offhand, but these sold out in I want to say about a minute to 2 minutes, and I kind of laughed it off because it was absurd how quickly it sold out. But then I started looking up things online and seeing people who do. I had never seen purchase videos before on YouTube, but apparently that's a thing, which is very entertaining to watch.
Wait, so people posted a video of themselves online buying Red Hero?
Yes. So, okay. Oh my goodness, we have a warning of 9 minutes. I'm going to have to upgrade Zoom if we're going to continue having these kind of deep conversations. But yes,
way to let our listeners know that we are cheap.
That's where the time limit comes. Full transparency.
And we've blown any Target sponsorship tonight. That was for sure.
Maybe they'll appreciate our honesty and jump on the bandwagon. But yes, there are people who they'll record themselves going to the website, doing the purchase, and then we'll discuss how easy or not easy it was to purchase said item.
So
And
the debacle was how quickly they sold out.
yes, so
Okay.
they were wiped out almost immediate within minutes. So there was they were wiped out. It was sold out. I went about my day, but then later saw that Mattel had offered a secondary wave. I guess maybe they had done
They
something
found
wrong
extra
with
in
the
the
initial.
back. Yeah.
Yeah, so they found a few boxes that fell off the truck in the back. They put those up for sale. So they were like, well, just order some more. People jumped back on, including myself, because now it's the principle of the thing. I order $1.
Right. Once there are principalities involved
Yeah,
on buying a repainted hero that represents Wonder Bread,
you
you
can't
got
let
to
that
get
go.
involved.
Can't let that go. I'd ordered two, and people were like, oh, okay, so they there was an issue, they course corrected, all is right with the world. And then about a day or two later, massive cancellations. Anyone that ordered something in that second wave had their order canceled. So now you've not only kicked the hornet's nest, you've doused it in gasoline, and they're furious. People were ticked off. That led to weeks and weeks of yelling and screaming. Mattel attempted to placate the people by offering a discount coupon. I think the code was just $1 to rub salt in the wound. So on, because you would absolutely be going back to buy more now that they've messed this up. But now you have a coupon that gives you a good 15% off on something that is not $1. However, I guess the happy ending to this is that they saw how much anger and rage there was about people not being able to get their Wonder Bread He-Man, and they re-offered $1 as a pre-order. So they will actually be making more, but you'll just have to wait for it. So you could then just order however many you wanted and go from there. So this leads to we may have to do two parts to this, because I still have more questions for you regarding scalping or not scalping. And one of the questions is available order versus pre-order. If you're ordering a lot, is that scalping?
Interesting. I do like that places who come up with items that they then are creating a limited run
Mhm.
on purpose, like $1.
Mhm.
I can't even say that with a straight face, like $1. Um, that they limit it to 2 purchases. I think that's responsible. Obviously, they had other hangups in this process, but I think that's responsible. And I don't think that's necessarily scalping, because they are purposely making a limited run.
Mhm.
Like that's the goal, right? Because you don't know that there's a big market out
Yes.
there. So you're just doing that limited edition. But additionally, I think our Tom figure we should re-release one that maybe doesn't glow in the dark. That is,
Oh, and
or no, the one, it should be translucent, and the one that glows in the dark should be from Sunbeam bread, and we could have our own limited run. Sunbeam Tom
so I guess as an addendum,
with
I feel
raisins.
oh no, that's the inferior Tom. Just oatmeal flavored with raisins. No, no, it would shelf warm. It would collect dust. It would go on clearance, and then Target.
I thought you said self-warm. Like who would want self-warming bread?
Well,
Is it
then
radioactive? Like how would that happen?
how else will it glow in the dark?
It's self-warming if you just stick it
Just
in your armpit
just
for
leave it
30
there.
seconds.
Just leave it there. It's fine. I guess I should, because we will absolutely be attacked by people with the well actuallys. I feel it's my duty to put out there that we know that Wonder Bread He-Man technically has nothing to do with Wonder Bread. Apparently, the
Right.
story was released way back when.
Right.
It was like a weird set of rumors in the telephone game, and people
Right.
started associating it with Wonder Bread.
Because he would have spots on him, which would be cooler. Right. It's just fun to make fun of Wondar. Yes, we have 4 minutes left, Tom, and I need to say that I would love our loyal listeners to kindly and considerately tell us how they feel about our conversation topic for today. And again, those who are kind and considerate might get mentioned. Those who are not will be aptly ignored.
We will fight
And
you. We will show up at your house. We'll Jay and Silent Bob you.
Tom is in
Jump
rare
on the.
form today, offending people, just threatening to fight. I don't know what is going on.
I'm
We
just
got him
saying.
fired. He's just fired up, thinking about a 1/6 scale Tom, translucent in nature, glowing in the dark.
I'm just saying, we will gladly hop on a Southwest airline, and once the delays are over, show up at your house and
What?
let you have it. And by let you have it, we mean the inferior glow in the dark
Tom's
Tom
mouth
himself
is writing checks his body can't cash right now. But secondly, Tom, perhaps you would like, now that we've offended everybody and threatened them, you would like to tell them where they can send all of their hate mail and
Yes,
how they can
absolutely.
find us.
After demanding that you not at us, please feel free to at us at Two Guys Talking Toys. That is the number 2 Talking Toys. No G after the talking. Also, if you want to write us an email, you can include pictures or viruses or whatever it is you feel you need to include to get your point across.
Viruses?
Absolutely. No one sends anything aside from viruses via email these days. Our email is also the same as the Twitter handle. Two Guys Talking Toys, number 2, no G.
I'd just like to add, I like to get my viruses the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, hand-to-hand contact.
Yes, by picking up toys in the parking lot that have been slobbered on by toddlers and run over by tractor trailers. That's how I get my viruses these days. A minute or less coming up. I just want to say thank you for listening. For those who I'm hoping will listen in the future, and make sure you reach out to us. We'd be grateful to hear from you. And if you find cool toys, send us pictures of your collection. Wouldn't that be cool? Let's see some pictures of people's collections.
That would be really neat. And yeah, weigh in on the topic. Scalping or not scalping? Your opinions, your takeaways. Is it or is it not?
Scalping of toys, not in the Native American sense. We don't want pictures or thoughts on people being scalped.
Yes, let's not do that.
Let's just assume it's bad.
Don't send us scalp pictures. Unless like you're balding or something, you want some questions. I take it back. Don't send us that either. We are not doctors. I can't recommend anything to help you with your scalp.
Tom is ripping me tonight. So hoodie, glasses, bearded, bald.
Hey, I love you just the way you are.
Thanks, buddy. I wish you glowed in the dark. All right. Signing off, loyal listeners. Thank you.
Take care, everyone.